Okay, so some of you are new. So for those of you who are not new and have seen this first couple of minutes a million times, I apologize, but I'm just going to give a brief introduction to my background and how I came to be in AI and all that kind of stuff. So back in the 18th century, or actually the last century, about 30 years ago, when the internet was text and blue links, my partner and I decided to do something different. So we created a futuristic town on the internet. And so what would happen is people would be surfing around the web and clicking on blue links, and occasionally they saw a picture. And then suddenly they came across this, which was like nothing else that was on the web. And they went, oh my God, what is this? And it was animated and it had sounds and all sorts of stuff. So it was, whoa, this is wild. So they went in and they joined, and in large numbers, because they liked it. But that was a double-edged sword, because what happened was we had 100 chat rooms and they were all in virtual reality. As you can see, people interacting as avatars, 3D avatars in multi-user virtual reality. And we had about 1,000 people a day joining, flooding our 100 chat rooms and asking all these questions that if it was one chat room, we could answer them, but 100, we couldn't be in 100 chat rooms answering 1,000 questions. So I'd heard about AI because AI had been around quite a while, because it started in the 40s and the 50s last century. But I thought, well, I wonder if I could build, I guess, what we'd call a chatbot who could sit in all these chat rooms simultaneously and answer all the questions simultaneously. And it turned out we could. And this is her up here in the top, Mina. She became very popular. She developed a sense of humor and actually a really delightful personality. And she had a lot to do with our success, because we grew to 1.3 million members. We got a lot of international press as a result. So I've been using AI for about 25 years and been using it in multimedia production for the last 5, 6 years, maybe a bit more. But then 2 to 3 years ago, ChatGPT appeared and things changed and AI became accessible to everybody. So I started giving seminars, sometimes up to 10 a month on AI, and I've been doing that ever since. And I ran into just so many people who wanted to learn what is AI and how can we use it, but please explain it in simple English, because we're not scientists or developers or engineers. So since I had a background in communities, I thought, well, why don't I put together a community to help people learn AI? And that's the AI Connection Club, which I'll tell you a little bit more about later. But anyway, moving on, what we're going to cover tonight, first thing is Mocha, which is a tool I discovered about 2 weeks ago. And it's what's called a vibe coding app creator. Vibe coding is the concept of, instead of hiring a developer for 2 to 3 months to build your program or your application, you just sit down with an AI and ask him to build whatever it is you want in next to no time. Sometimes 10 minutes, sometimes 2 hours, whatever it might be. But it's way faster and way easier. But there's something like 30 different vibe coding programs now, and they all vary dramatically in how they operate and what they can do or not do. And I've fallen in love with Mocha, and you'll see why in a minute. Then we're going to look at Google's new Mixboard. Those of you who've been to my recent seminars on Nano Banana, anyone here not using Nano Banana or haven't used it yet? Oh, goodness, Andek, you'll love it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm writing right now. No pictures yet.
Got it. Understood. Peggy hasn't used it yet. Sherry hasn't. Okay. Well,
I
just,
have briefly.
okay, good. Just a real quick explanation of why Nano Banana is special is that up until now, image generators have been pretty amazing in terms of what they could generate. But if you wanted to make a change, it was no fun, because you'd ask them to make a change to something in the image, and they might make that change, but they'd also change half a dozen other things that you didn't want them to change. And you go back and forth going, no, I want this, I want that. And it was a pain. And so Google came out about a month ago with this thing called Nano Banana, and it solved all those problems. And I've been demonstrating it for a while now. And it basically, it creates the image, and then you want to change something specific in the image. It changes just that thing and nothing else. So for image editing, it's just fantastic. And a lot of people call it a Photoshop replacement because it enables you to do things in seconds that used to take a couple of hours in Photoshop. Then we're going to look at Kimi, which is another vibe coding app, but it's on steroids, as you'll see. It goes further than usual. Then we're going to look at Google Stitch, which is the user interface front-end designer for apps and websites. Just because these vibe coding apps, they tend to be fantastic at building the app, but not great at building the look and feel of the app. So Google Stitch comes in and solves that. And it also enables you to design your website very easily. And most of these tools, in fact, yeah, all of them are free. So it speeds up the whole website process considerably. And then we're going to look at Sora 2, which has been flooding the internet in the last week. It came out last week, and it's made by OpenAI, the people behind ChatGPT. And it's taken video generation from here to here. It's like just phenomenal what you can do with it. And I'll show that a little bit later. So first, we're going to take a look at Mocha. And rather than try and build an app now, which I could do, but we've got 5 different tools to look at, maybe 6, depending on what happens. But so it would take a little bit too long. So what I did is I built an app, and I'm just going to walk you through the steps of what it took. So you'll see how easy it is. So when you first go into Mocha, it says, what do you want to build? And it just says, type your idea and we'll build it together. And then it gives some inspiration of things you might build. And you can click on them if you want to use that as a starting point. And it'll do anything from an e-commerce store to a Spotify clone to a personal finance tracker, photo gallery, task manager, portfolio, website. And there are also some templates, pre-built things built either by other members of the community or by the company itself. And it will build just so many different kinds of things that normally in the past you'd have to hire a programmer to build in 2 to 3 months and a lot of money. And it also has information on how to prompt and various other things. But so I'm going to show you how simple. Now, I did this utterly deliberately simply because normally I would put in more information than this, but I'm going to show you what it was able to build just from one simple sentence. All I said was an app that keeps track of all my multiple online software subscriptions, because they were starting to mount up. And I kind of lost track of how much I was spending. I had an idea of how much I was spending, but I thought I'd put together an app that would help me find out exactly what was going on. And I got quite a surprise, as you'll see a little bit later. So anyway, now one of the problems that I'd run into with some of these vibe coding apps or creators was sometimes things would be going smoothly. Then you'd ask it to do something, and it would say, okay, I see what the problem is. I fixed it. And you try it again and it wasn't fixed. And you'd say, no, you didn't. Try again. And then it'd say, okay, I see what it is now. I fixed it. And it hadn't. And you find yourself going in, they call it a loop of back and forth, like half a dozen times before you finally say a swear word and maybe give up. And I was getting a little fed up with that with some of the other ones that I was using. So what happened was here, I put in this thing. The first thing I saw was this hourglass that wasn't going away. And I thought, oh no, not another of these apps that just doesn't work. But no, all I did was I said, all I see is an hourglass. And it said, I see the issue. And it explained the issue. And well, there it appeared. So I thought, okay, that's promising. It fixed it immediately. So then, and this is what it built, actually. Yeah, this front end was what it originally built. It built these cards that you could put information in, and it showed how much the monthly spend was, the annual spend, the number of subscriptions. This is before I entered all the information. And then when I was testing it, there's a place where when you click on add subscription, you've got a section called categories where you can say what category you want it in. And originally when it built it, it asked me to write the category. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. So I said on the category tab, can you make it a drop down with the top 10 typical categories? And it said, sure, and it did. And I'll show you that in a minute. So let's go on the web here. So right now, you see where it says categories. I used to have to type in my category. So what it did is it put all the categories here, and anytime I created a new one, it would add it. And to choose the category, I just select it. So going back to the presentation, then I found that when I enter new subscriptions and save them, they show up on this main page, but the totals up here don't change. So I told it that, and sure enough, it fixed it. It said, I'll fix the issue, and it did instantly. So far it was going really well. And then I said, okay, that cards view that we were just looking at over here, see these cards, each of the cards has the name of the subscription, what thing it is, what category it's in, how much it is, when the next bill is due, and a click to go to their website. And you understand that it created all this. I didn't ask it to. I just said, build me an app that keeps track of my subscriptions. So it did the reasoning and the figuring about of what such an app should contain. And so I said, the cards view is excellent. Can you also add a lists view that just lists all the subscriptions so I can toggle between the card and the list view? And it did. It added up here. There's the cards, there's the list, and there's the list. So you see how easy this kind of stuff is? You just tell it what you want. And if it messes up, you tell it and it fixes it. And then I said, okay, I want to export all my information into a spreadsheet. So I said, please add an export. And there it added it right up there. And it worked instantly. And this is what I was excited about, because I'd been trying to build similar things in other tools and running into the loop of, I fixed it, no, you haven't. And I didn't run into that with this. So I was very pleased about that. And yeah, so it built subscriptions tracker, and it works great. It works perfectly. And what actually happened was, let me see if I'm going to go back on the web for a second. What actually happened was and this is the actual app, and it also added a Google front end so that I could just log in, or different people using it could log in and have their own personal ones. And so say if I want to add a subscription, I just add all the information here and click add, and it adds the card. But what happened with me is that I thought I was spending about 200 a month on subscriptions. When I put them into subscriptions tracker, I found I was spending 600 a month.
Oh,
I know. So that was kind of like a rude awakening. So obviously I spent some time since reducing that, getting rid of the stuff I don't really need. And it's just sitting there. And I signed up for it a year ago and have never used it. So I've gotten it down to about 450, and I think I'm probably getting it down to about 400, actually more like 300 with some other stuff. So this has already saved me a lot of money. And I'm going to go back to the presentation, and Peggy says that Dan has raised his hand. So Dan, what do you wish to say or ask?
Okay, Dan, you're allowed.
Hello? No, Dan. Oh yeah, you can use your mic. It's okay. How did it know what subs you have? Because I add the subs. I had to spend a little time putting in the apps, but it only had to do it once. And once they're in, then it keeps track, because it knows when something is due. Like it knows they've got a couple of bills tomorrow and a couple others at different times. And it can alert me as well through email. But the point is, it's a fairly sophisticated little app, but it took maybe, I don't know, half an hour to build. It's just amazing to me anyway. Now they have a free version where you get 120 credits that you can build with. And I'll show you in a minute how many credits I used in building that whole app. And they have a paid version, which is 20 a month, where you get 1,500 credits. But if you go and decide you like it, and you go there and you click on this particular link, you can go and try the free one and try it. And if you like it, you'll get 50 credits added to your 1,500. So you'll get an extra 50. So you'll get 1,550 if you use that link. And I'll put the link in the chat in case anybody wants to use it.
might.
Okay, it's in the chat. Now, my whole app, it used 48 credits. So I could have built 2 or 3 apps just in the free version. Pretty amazing, huh?
That is amazing, Tony.
Yeah.
And those credits, it's month by month, right? They change.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to go to this, going back on the web to go to a link because I'm going to show you one other thing that a friend of mine who went to the seminar, I gave this seminar in another community last week, and a friend of mine said, okay, my mother needs a website. Let's see if Mocha can build me a website. And in 10 minutes, it built this website with all the information, which is correct information, not just a little carousel with images. Oh, it's the other way. Yeah, it built a complete website in 10 minutes, and a pretty nice one too.
Tony,
Yes?
when it has completed to your satisfaction a given app, does it turn it into an executable file and plop it on your desktop, or do you?
You can save it in a number of different ways. If you look here, it saves it as an app on the web, or you can download the code and just put it, if it's a website, you can use the code it'll give you all the files that you need to have the website on the web. They usually give you like 3 or 4 different ways that you can use it. I tend to stick mine in my community, as you'll see a little bit later. And you can, do you know what an iframe is?
No.
Okay, it's a little piece of code that enables you to stick another website on your website. And it looks like it's...
The I is for inline, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think it's inline frame.
Could be. And Trisha, to answer your question, yes, it works with WordPress and everything because I use it in WordPress. So there's a number of different ways you can export the apps.
So it's on the web, and is there some ongoing charge for the space it's taking? No.
Nope, it's included.
It's included in the nothing that you paid.
Davreen says, our website's created with Mocha Secure. Absolutely. It's built with all the things that you need to take payments and authorize members and all that kind of stuff, like Stripe. All those kind of things are built in. And you just ask it, you just say add Stripe, and it adds Stripe. And in about 10 or 15 seconds. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the presentation. And now we're going to take a look at something completely different. And Dan says, is the app you just built something you could sell? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely you can. And you tell Mocha that I want to sell this, so build in everything needed. And so it'll build in a sign up place where people can sign up, give their email and password, and then it'll have Stripe or whatever payment system you want to connect to it. And it's all built in. So, and if you want a database, that's all built in as well. It says, can you upload it to Apple App Store or Google? Well, if you build a mobile app, sure. But what I built was a desktop app. It works on mobile as well, but it wasn't designed as a mobile app. But yeah, absolutely. And you'll see a little bit later when we get to Google Stitch, you'll see some of that. So now we're going to take a look at Google's Mixboard, which is something completely different. How you get to Mixboard is labs.google.com/Mixboard. Now, Mixboard uses that program that I mentioned before, Nano Banana, to create and edit images. But instead of being able to edit one image at a time, it builds a whole scenario of images on a specific subject. So I said to it, give me a bunch of images related to Deep South Blues guitar. And it came up with all these different images. And then I said, see, there's a prompt here where you can talk to it. But what I also did is some of these are left over from the seminar last week where some of the members were uploading images for me. But so one person uploaded this image, and then we had this image already. So I said, take those 3 images and create a new image out of them. And you could actually have up to 15 images and blend them all together, which is something I showed in Nano Banana a couple of weeks back. And it was absolutely wild. Actually, I'm going to, just so you have an idea of this, because it's pretty extraordinary. Yeah, here was an example of 15 different images. Told Nano Banana to blend them in a specific way. And it did. It put them all together. and in something that made sense, that included all the things from the previous, all the 15 things, which is pretty unusual and pretty different. And Nano Banana can also, you can put in a room and say, what would it be like if this was a whole bunch of bookshelves? And it does it. And you say, what about a couch here? And it does that. So you can design rooms and all sorts of things in different ways. And you can also say, okay, take these two images, this one and blend them. And it creates that. And I think in this instance, she actually said, have us both sitting down and me petting the dog. And it does. And it's also interesting in terms of the fact that you can say, okay, take Michael Jackson and Billie Eilish and make it into Billie Eilish taking a selfie of the two of them. And it never happened, but it looks like it did. Or put this person holding this bottle, and it does that.
Could you please show us that great big, long, lovely prompt that produced the lady leaning against the pink car? I didn't quite have an opportunity to read it through. It's remarkable.
Okay, I will. I'll get back to that in a second, but I'm going to show you something else first. So I created this in Nano Banana, and then I said, okay, take this and set it on fire. And it did, and it kept everything else absolutely the same, except it changed the lighting on her face to reflect the fire. And then I said, okay, this is dusk, make it dawn. So it did the same thing. It kept it exactly the same, but just changed the time of day. So you've got complete control in ways that we never had before. And you could even take this image and say, okay, bring it to life.
Hey, I'm walking here.
So it's a really remarkable tool. And so I'm going to go out of the, oh, you want to go back to that? You want to go back to this one? Okay, I'm going to start with this one real quick. This one had these 7 items. And the guy said, a fashion model in a beautiful long dress flowing with the wind, wearing red headphones and red high heels, is posing in front of a red exotic car on top of a roof during sunset. Her small dog is beside her. Fashion photography, high fashion, high quality. And it created that.
Yeah, it's a different one. Okay.
It put the glasses on the dog and the headphones on her, and it has all the elements that were in the picture. But this is the one you wanted to read. So,
Yeah. Amazing.
so let me know when you finish reading it, and then I'll show you.
Yes, quite all right. I just zipped to the bottom. It's amazing.
Yeah. So Nano Banana is unique and a great tool. But we're going to go back to Mixboard because Mixboard uses Nano Banana. So, like I say, you can take any number of them and blend them together in whatever way you like. Or you can say, give me more like this. If you don't like the image, you can say regenerate it and you get a new one. Or you can say remove the background and it takes the person out and you can place him wherever you want and you can blend him with other things. So it makes image work, design work really so much faster and easier. And you could upload a bunch of merchandise and your logo and say, put my logo on all the merchandise, and it'll do that. This was actually something that the guys last week at this webinar did this one on an 80s roller rink party. And then they said, okay, blend this one, and it did, and it produced this. And you see, even though it puts her in whatever position is relevant. In other words, if you wanted her to turn to the right or turn to the left, it will do that. And if it's in a situation where standing up like this wouldn't be appropriate, it'll fix it to what would be appropriate.
Oh, proportional, isn't it?
Yeah. So it makes design and image editing so much faster and easier. So let's do one. So what would you like to make a Mixboard on? What subject? And you can use your microphones. Cat. Well, the thing is, Tricia, if you just say cats, you'll just get 15 images of cats. Let's make it a subject, not a specific object or specific person.
What about cats who are jazz jamming together?
Do you mean playing music?
Adding a pinch of pixel dust. I love it.
So we got cats playing bagpipes, cats playing the violin.
For sure the bagpipes and the conductor, I think. That's that one.
Yeah, let's say, actually, let's take, oh, here's one playing the electric guitar. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to say more like this. See what
Yeah.
I'm seeing in the comments, people going, "Oh my God, wow, very nice. Oh, this is crazy." So it just created more like this down here. It did this one, and this one, and this one. And then it says, what do you want to change? And because it's Nano Banana, we can change something. We could say for this one, and you see when we select it, it puts it down here. So we'll say, I guess this is a harp, right?
Yeah, it's a harp guitar. It's both. I don't know why. That's an AI thing.
Change the harp guitar.
There are harp guitars.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, doesn't look like that though.
Okay, so change the harp guitar to a cello.
okay.
There we go.
Yeah, except there's part of it still, there's the harp in there.
Yeah, so let's see if we can remove the harp part. It might
Yeah.
not know that this is a harp, but we'll see.
Yeah.
It did. It
Bingo.
fixed it. So you see how useful Nano Banana is in terms of editing. You can say specifically what you want, and you get it with everything else keeping the same.
And if it didn't grasp it, would it ask you?
No, I just try something.
Yeah, usually we just try it. And this tool is completely free. So it's a lot of fun because you can, if you're looking for say your website or some promotion or something, you're looking for a specific image and you're not finding it easily and quickly, just ask Mixboard to create 15 of them and you find something that's close and you say, okay, more like this, and then adjust this, change that, and you can end up getting exactly what you're looking for.
So it never comes back and says, "What's a harp?"
It hasn't done to me yet, no.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a fun tool, huh?
Absolutely.
Oh, there's something else I forgot to mention, and that is a kind of cool function. Let me pull up something on one of my monitors so that I can demonstrate this. What you can do is you can grab something from your own computer and you can add it to the Mixboard.
So, Tony, does that mean that if I had, let's just say I had a whole bunch of photographs or other types of images that I knew were mine because I'd taken the pictures or whatever, can I use only that and therefore be sure that I'm not infringing on anyone's copyrights?
Of course.
You can do that. Okay.
Yeah. Now you'd be infringing upon your own copyright, but I think you'd probably allow it.
Well, I can tell that one of the apps to make 9 versions of me and have them argue about it.
Okay. So now we're going to go back to the presentation and look at the next tool. Now, Kimi. I think there's one other person in this room who is familiar with Kimi because he turned me onto it, and that's Andek. And thank you, Andek. So what's really interesting about Kimi is it creates so much more. Now, you remember when I built that subscription tracker, and all I used was an app keeps track of all my online software subscriptions. That was all I asked for. And you saw what I got, and it worked fine. But when I did the same thing in Kimi, it built all this instantly with the cards and filters for the categories and managing subscriptions and searching subscriptions. But it also built a whole other page with analytics and insights.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and all sorts of just tons of different information that could take, days or weeks of programming, and it just did it itself without me even asking for it, because my prompt was just a subscription, somebody to keep track of my subscriptions. I was just very, very impressed by the fact that it kind of really reasoned and thought, well, what else might be useful in such an app? And it built it in. Andek, I'm going to show you what he did, because this is even more remarkable, because he didn't give it a command or write a prompt. He just asked it a question. He said, I'm a fiction writer and poet. I write in English and German. To work more efficiently, I'd like to organize my work and also create a dedicated space for my research and brainstorming. What can you suggest I should do? Do I need some apps? Can everything be done in, let's say, Notebook LM or similar? So he just asked it a question, right? And it went off and created this, which was a full-fledged website with different parts called Your Creative Sanctuary. And it had sections that kept track of the projects, number of words written, research items, and also recent activity with a graph going on, and a research library for the things you might be wanting to research. and a brainstorming session with mind maps, and then a place where he could actually write and it would keep track of things. I mean, it was phenomenal. It did that all from his simple question. Do you realize the power of this tool? It thinks things through and it comes up with bright ideas that you might never have thought of. And you go, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. And it's done, since I started using it, it's done that for me. It always comes up with extra things that I went, oh, that's a great idea. And what's interesting about this is they have a free plan. And in a minute, I'm going to tell you the pluses and the minuses of Kimi. Before you saw Mocha was 20 a month. The two most famous ones are called Lovable and Replit, and they're 25 a month. Replit, I've just gotten so fed up with loops of arguing with it when it says it's fixed things when it hasn't. Lovable has recently changed, and it's added some really cool stuff, and I've recently started using Lovable again, and I'll explain that in a minute. But so this one is $19 a month, and you get all sorts of extra stuff. Now, here's the pluses of Kimi. The major plus is it creates, as you saw, extraordinarily detailed and complex websites from a simple prompt. In my case, a one-line prompt, and in Andic's case, a question. It's amazingly creative and comes up with all sorts of quite brilliant ideas that you might not have thought of. And you can give it a very simple prompt and just let it go off and do its thing. It might take 2 to 4 hours to do it, which is different than the other ones. The other ones, they do it in real time pretty much. But this one is doing a lot of stuff, so you give it time to go off and do it. But what it comes up with is quite something, as you saw. But the major minus I ran into is when it misprograms something and causes a problem and tries to fix it, it says it's fixed, but it isn't. And this can go on and on and on, like Replit. In my case, I ran out of free credits before I could finish my app because of this. So I wasn't happy about that, and I'm hoping they're going to fix that in the way that Lovable recently did. So in terms of vibe coding, right now, my favorites are Mocha and Kimi, and also Lovable. Because Lovable is also very easy to use, and in the past it wasn't that powerful, but it recently became, with an update they did last week, became more powerful. Now, Google Stitch. Now, I mentioned before that these vibe coding apps, they tend to be very good at creating the actual app, but not great at the design of the front end or how the app looks. So Google came out with Stitch. And what Stitch enables you to do is you can say to it what kind of front end you might like, and you can say, create a front end homepage web design for a subscription tracker that keeps track. And so it created this one initially, which was okay. But what was interesting is that then you can say, okay, give me a whole bunch of variations. And then I said to it, okay, so give me a different variation of that homepage design. And then I said, okay, have it with an image. Then I said, have it with an image that has a person in it. And you could try all these different things out and create the design exactly as you want. And then just try all sorts of different ideas or different styles of design just to give you your ideas. I'm going to go back to here to show you some that other people are doing. And this is where people are creating designs for mobile apps. So it created this for this person, created this one for design for a photo library. And I'll tell you what's really cool about it in a moment. Board game club planner. Goodness, it created a whole, all the pages for a mobile app that's a board game. And it does all this stuff really, really quickly. And so you can just design things exactly how you want. You can tell it, no, change this, change that, because it's all prompt-based. And you tell it what you want for the design part of it.
Revealing my ignorance, the mobile part, means it's in a format for a device other than a computer, like a phone or.
Exactly, for a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it can do any kind of design, and you've got all sorts of choices. So you can say, adjust the theme, so you could make it a different color scheme, different fonts, different design there. And you can say, create variants, and it'll create 5 different designs or styles. You can say, let me see what it looks like on a phone.
Or a tablet, right?
Yeah. Actually, no, it's just got mobile and desktop, but if you wanted to see it as a tablet, you just grab the side and do that. Yeah, and you can view the code that it created to create that design, and you can copy the code or you can copy the image, and then you can go into something like Mocha or Lovable or Kimi and just dump in the code, and it will put the design you've built in Stitch into your app in those other programs. Remember I mentioned Nano Banana before? I tried to do this in Replit and got into one of those horrible loops. So a couple of days ago, I just rebuilt it in Lovable, and it creates the front end for Nano Banana. Actually, let me just go to the real thing. Yeah, this is in my community, the AI Connection Club. So it uses Nano Banana, so I can write some text. And if I write the text, I've got a choice to enhance it, which I'll show you in a moment. Or you can edit either an image that you upload, or you can create an image and then edit it using Nano Banana or regenerate it. And so on this one, which is this, I asked it to just create a family eating dinner. And then I could say to it, put a roller derby hat on the guy at the end of the table. And it'll keep everything else the same, but just put a hat on this guy. And there it did. And it keeps track of all the different images that you're doing. So you can call them up again to edit them and change them. And you can say if you want it square or landscape or portrait. I think this one was landscape. Yeah. So like I say, I used one of these vibe coding ads just to build a front end to Nano Banana so that my community members could have Nano Banana. And next I'm going to show you something else that I'm going to be building into the community, because this is Sora. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, what happened was that OpenAI, the company who built ChatGPT, they brought out, well, first of all, I think it was not last January, but the January before, they suddenly announced a video generator that the quality was so much better than anything we'd seen before. Everyone got real excited, but then they didn't release it for like 8 or 9 months. And in that time, all sorts of other companies, especially Chinese companies, caught up and built all sorts of competition, so that when Sora came out, it was like a damp squib, because it was like, yeah, been there, seen that, done that. But so they went away and licked their wounds. And then last week came out with Sora 2. And Sora 2 is quite something else. Okay, and I'm going to show you a video that just shows you, because everything you're about to see and hear was generated by Sora, because it adds audio as well, and synchronized audio and music and sound effects and everything. It creates the whole thing, and it creates multiple sections, not just one 5-second or 10-second video. It'll do up to 16 seconds, and it'll do 5 scenes at all different angles and all sorts of things.
1 year ago, Sora 1 redefined what was possible with moving images. Today, we're announcing the Sora app, powered by the all-new Sora 2. It's the most powerful imagination engine ever built, and it's packed with new features. I'll pass it to Bill for more details.
Now, every video comes with sound.
Sora 2 is also the state-of-the-art for motion, physics IQ, and body mechanics, marking a giant leap forward in realism.
And we're introducing Cameo, giving you the power to step into any world or scene and letting your friends cast you in theirs.
On the path to AGI, the gains aren't just about productivity. It's about creating new possibilities.
It's also about creativity and joy. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's why we're launching Sora 2 inside the Sora app, allowing everyone to push the limits of their imagination and create in ways we never thought possible.
So you saw that you can take a shot of yourself, upload a picture of yourself, just a single picture, and put that into your videos or put other people into your videos. And they released it as an app, almost like a kind of competitor to TikTok, because you can create such amazing videos. So now the web is being flooded with incredibly creative videos being created with Sora. Oh, this one's for Trisha, who likes cat things.
Ready when you are. 3, 2, 1, go! Dude, you all right?
So now we're only limited by our imaginations, and that's why there are so many amazing videos appearing now on YouTube from all sorts, and on phones through the Sora app. And I'm building Sora into the AI Connection Club, so you'll be able to access it there. You see if there was anything else I wanted to mention about Sora. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So let me open the chat again so I can see if there's anything I haven't answered. Vereen says, does Sora 2 come with the ChatGPT OpenAI subscription? Yes, but it's also available free on the web at here, sora.chatgpt.com/explore. You just describe your video here and it will create it. And this is just stuff that members of the community are creating. Seeing a lot of people liking to put Martin Luther King in their videos, saying new things, of course. I wonder what he is saying.
I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day entrepreneurs in every town, in every city will rise. I have a dream.
Okay, not so great.
Newton's laughing.
Okay, Herman says, Dan says you need an invite code. That's true. When you get an invite code from somebody, you then get 4 more that you can pass on to other people. These codes have gone all over the place. Okay, let me see another question. Carl Mulligan says, have you explored Emergent? Something, I've looked at it briefly. I haven't spent enough time with it to know how it compares to the 4 or 5 that I have checked out. How do you like it, Carl?
Can you hear me okay, Tony?
Yep.
Yes. I tried doing a cooking app because every day I'm wondering what I'm going to cook for dinner. And then I thought, well, it would be pretty cool to spin a globe, pick a spot in the world and zoom into a neighborhood and get a recipe from the local recipes that are available. That was what I tried to do. But I got stuck on that too. So that's why I was wondering if you had tried it.
Oh, you got stuck on the same kind of loop of...
Yeah, it got a little deeper. You can save stuff to GitHub, and I wasn't familiar with GitHub, and I just didn't get any further than that.
Right.
But I might try it again. It seemed to do things really well. Things are changing every week or month, and maybe it's not keeping up. I don't know. I just wondered if you had tried it.
No, not enough to know, other than I have heard good recommendations. And Dan mentioned that you need an invite code. I read something, I think it was yesterday, it said that they were dropping that aspect and they were making it open to everyone, but I haven't verified it. Vincent says, how can I tell if a video of Portland being nuked is real? That's the dark side of this. They are adding stuff to make it so that you have to say when a thing is a real video or a fake video, and YouTube is starting to demand that. So little by little, they're going to be bringing in safeguards on that. Herman says, have you heard of Chat LLM, some sort of umbrella that gives access to a ton of LLMs and tools for $10 a month? Sounds almost too good. And guess what, Herman? Yes, I've heard of about 20 of those, and I've tested about 10 of them. And you know what they say about something sounds too good? What they are is they're really stripped down versions, or not the full versions of the software, missing key features. So what happens is you start using it, and if you've used the real thing, you get frustrated because there's a missing feature that you need, and you go, well, I really want it, and it's not in the version that they give you. Now, there's a couple that are better than others. I use WaveSpeed because it's very good for videos, for the different video generators. And I also use OpenArt, and both of them together are very good for videos and images. But I've never found any one of them that is as good as the real ChatGPT. They have their own versions of ChatGPT, but they are stripped down versions. And that's the other thing. Dan says there's a Sora watermark, and that's the other thing they're removing as well. They announced, I think it was yesterday, that the watermark's going away and the requirement of the invites is going away. Yeah, and that's right. Trisha mentioned correctly. There are programs that have popped up showing you how to remove the watermarks. Any questions before we wrap it up for tonight? And you can use your microphones or the chat, whichever you wish.
Amazing stuff, Tony. Thank you.
You're very welcome, John.
Yeah, give me something to play with in the next couple days.
Yes.
I just got to figure out how to get more time for it.
That's right.
Thanks, Tony. That was really awesome. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Very welcome, Kevin.
Thank you.
I take it that GPT is a kind of standard these days.
Pretty much. I mean, there are three major ones. There's ChatGPT, there's Claude, and there's Gemini from Google. There's a lot of other ones, but those are the most used ones.
Yeah, how does Pilot rate? Copilot?
I don't like it at all, personally. I don't use it for anything.
Yeah.
But some people like it, but not for me.
Simplicity, yeah.
Perplexity is good for research.
Peaceful.
Perplexity is amazing. I've been using it almost exclusively for 2 years.
Yeah, and I switched from that to Manus because Manus is now king of the hill for research.
How do you spell Manus?
MANUS.IM. Actually, I just realized there's a couple of other things I want to show you in the present. IM, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for the nice comments. Davreen says, in my opinion, what's the best video editor? CapCut. It's free and it's very fast and does everything that you could need. Okay, so Google's VO3 is a very good video generator, and this is the one built into the AI Connection Club. And I'm just going to, for anybody here who isn't familiar with the AI Connection Club, I'm just going to very quickly tell you what's available in there, just some of the features. The latest AI tools constantly updated, and that was easy 6 months ago when there was one new great tool a week. Now there's 3 a day, so we're kept on our toes. So also image, video, and music generators are being built in. So far there's Nano Banana and VO3, and there's going to be a bunch of other ones so that you can create music, image, and videos right inside the community. 50 of the best AI tools by categories, plus a section on what are the half dozen that you really need. The ones that if you could only have half a dozen, what would they be? And that we cover that too. There's also, instead of 10-hour or 40-hour courses on how to use ChatGPT, we have 5-minute super starters on how to use the most useful tools. So you can get started real easily. And then we have these workshops where we teach you how to use the tools that you request. There are also now something like, there's more than that, they're pre-built assistants for entrepreneurs and artists and nonprofit companies. 15 of them handle all aspects of marketing, and they all have example prompts so that you can, there's discussion groups, there's direct access. Oh yeah, I already covered that. Daily AI news. There's a section which tells you which are the best AI tools for whatever it might be. You just ask it. It's an AI that you can ask questions, tell it what you're looking for, what you want, and it'll recommend. And there's a friendly community where you can make friends, private message, chat, get help from others, including me. And partner companies can have their own separate pages. These are a couple of the tools for artists. Authors Ally helps authors, and instead of having to go out to ChatGPT, it's got a customized version of ChatGPT that's trained specifically for authors, and you can use it right in the community. Same with the Musician's Career Guide and other artists' career guides. Image Alchemist is the one I mentioned, where you'll find the best image generating tools for your needs. And if you want a copy of these slides, that's my email address. Send me an email requesting the slides. And if you want a free AI coaching session, you can also say that in the email that you send me.
Is this webinar that we're just in, is that's going to be, is you going to post a video of it?
Yeah, let me show you where that is. When you go into the Connection Club, the best place to go to is the map, because the map gives you access to all the major places, and each one explains what's in that place. And when you click on it, it goes to that place. And this.
Oh, how do I find them? I'm there, but how do I find the map? I'm in the AI Connection Club now. Oh, it's over on the right. Oh, club map.
Yeah, right there.
Okay. Wow. Look at that. Okay.
Yeah. Now, so it says, the legend says the blue stuff is completely free. The green stuff is, some portions of it are free, and there are also more expanded versions of them not. And the gold or orange is what the gold members get, and they get everything. But so to answer your question about replays, see there where it says seminar replays?
Yeah.
Click on that, all the previous seminars are here.
Wow. Okay.
And this one will be there in a couple of days, probably.
Okay, and what's a gold member?
Okay, well, there are 3 different membership levels. There's free, which is bronze. The bronze members get these things. The silver members, and where you get to this page is you can either go join now, or on the map you can go to where it says memberships. The silver members for $9 a month get all that plus a bunch more things, and the gold members get a whole ton more things than everything else that's there, and that's $24 a month. So this is the one for where we're going to be having some of those new tools, because the tools cost us money. So Sora will be in the gold membership, although there'll be a free version of Sora. We'll probably limit it to maybe 5 videos or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So basically, when you have the gold, you could skip all other memberships elsewhere, and
Yeah,
and
don't lose everything below it.
yeah. Also, you showed the one for the authors. Is there something like where that app would say, "Oh, you have used all your credentials," or
No, that app is completely free.
okay,
Now there is in the store, there's a version that can be customized to you as an author, but that'll be just to you and your books, but that's different than the other one is more general.
I see. No, I use one from you, but sometimes he's just not coherent.
Not what?
He does things on its own, or is not grasping what I want. So I'm not sure if it is my prompt, or if he ran out of stuff, or I have no
Well,
idea.
next time you come over, show me that, and I'll figure out whether it's your prompt or whether it's something that we need to train him further on you.
I see. Like visiting you, or how you mean come over?
Or visit or Zoom. Either way,
Okay.
because they can be tweaked, fine-tuned, because every author is different and every author has different requirements.
Got it.
Okay, Vincent says, are you limited on Sora, or can you stitch together? Yeah, I mean, you can. Most movies are made out of 5 or 10-second clips all stitched together. So you make your clips in Sora or whatever video generator you're using, and then stitch them together in something like CapCut. Okay, so unless there's any more questions, we're going to wrap it up.
Okay, Tony, I'll send you a text.
Okay, great. And John, you raised your hand.
Just want to say thank you again. I think it's been amazing keeping us all up to date on this stuff.
Oh, you're so welcome. And thank you.
Absolutely.
Your contact info, please. I saw your phone go by. You have an address in the site and so on.
Well, when you join the Connection Club, you can become a friend, because it's just like Facebook. You've got friend requests and private messaging, and you can message me directly inside the club, and I answer all messages. As an example, I look at my messages. There's just loads of them. There's a bunch of testimonials down here from all sorts of people. Yeah, I'd be very happy to see you guys in the club, and we can have some fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap up now. So thanks very much for coming. Thanks for being so interactive and interesting, and see you in a couple of weeks.
Wonderful.
Thank you.